slow down for the corners. What's up, everybody? So, over in this corner, we've got the apocalypse. Over in this corner, we have the sunset. It's beautiful, really. So, I am currently in the 7600. I am tedding. So, basically, just to give you guys kind of a lowdown on what's been going on recently. We cut our hay, basically all of it, and we were gonna go ahead and start making it today. But earlier we got to the farm, we went to check it, and, well, let's just say that it was still pretty wet underneath, even though I had gone through and I had tedded it once already. So Travis and I went up to another farm, and we were cultivating / side dressing this morning. While we were waiting for this to dry, because basically they were forecasting, you know, it's going to rain this afternoon. Well, it ended up, the forecast changed, and then they said that it's not supposed to rain until Friday. Now they're saying it's supposed to start raining at like midnight tonight, but I'm kind of crossing my fingers and hoping that it doesn't, because if it doesn't, then we can get all this made tomorrow, which there's like the storm right on the horizon. And so yeah, I'm kind of speeding to get done tedding, because I'm going through and tedding it all again, as much as I didn't want to, but unfortunately it was pretty wet underneath. So there were a lot of spots where it was still wet, even though we tedded it once already. So I'm going through and doing it again. Things are going pretty smoothly as far as the tedder goes. I was going like 12 miles an hour before, and I've kind of slowed down now just because I'm holding the camera. But yeah, the reason I'm actually hurrying is because apparently the light switch is broken on the 7600. So I still have to go back to the farm, and I still have to go and pick Travis up or go get the tank, because the fertilizer bulk tank is still up at that farm, and I don't even know if Travis is done yet. He said he was going to give me a call. But going about 12 miles an hour now. Surprisingly, the Rhino Tedder is taking it like a boss. Except for the bumps. I don't like the bumps. A little slower. So what other updates we got going on? Other than that light, that broke. What else did we do today? After today, but the last cultivating video will, I've still got to publish it yet, so. Oh, Travis told me to forget it. So, once I'm done with this, I'm going to run this back to the farm. Now, luckily, the lights aren't broken on the 7600, but I can hold the high beams on, and that turns them on, thankfully. Well, I acknowledge that, Scott. Yeah, we acknowledge that, but unfortunately, we would much rather hit it once more with the tedder. I mean, the first time we hit it actually like pretty lightly. I don't even think that we went all the way to the ground with it. We just kind of spread it out. You can tell that it's not even spread all the way across all the ground. So we would much rather ted it twice rather than have it get rained on, because if it doesn't get made tomorrow, it is going to get rained on pretty heavily. So. What time is it there? It's approximately 8:30. How many acres of hay? I don't even know how many acres we cut down. That over there is like 7. This is probably another 15, 20. I'm not even totally sure. Plus whatever's at the main farm. Did you guys get any rain today? No, we did not. Fortunately, this morning, like, a miracle happened. I don't know what went on, but basically the storm was coming right at us, and then it split off into two parts, and the rain all went around us, which is for the better. The aggressiveness of the tedder looks like that's not so good on the alfalfa. Yeah. Well, what are you going to do? I got to get this moisture out from underneath, because underneath all of the hay, there's still sitting moisture. I got to get it out of there, so. Come on, flip. There we go. Okay, not quite that fast. Yeah, not quite that fast. Easy. Apparently it shifted up into 19th for some reason. There's roughly 7,600 hours on the 7,600. What's your preferred tractor for this kind of work? Honestly, people, this is what you get for going fast. Bouncy as all get out. People like to say whenever we use like smaller implements like this that we should use like the 4020, which I don't disagree with. The 4020 is pretty useful, but unfortunately right now it is hooked onto the cultivator, which Travis was using. He's probably done now. But honestly, I think for the tedder, the 7600 works better, because with the 4020, there's some kind of play in the hydraulics, and I'm not totally sure why that is. But that play really like means that the tedder sways back and forth, and you can't keep it at the same level across the ground. So as you're going across the ground, you're not hitting the same depth into the hay. So you can risk either running the tines into the ground or not picking up the hay. So look at this. This is just gorgeous. I wish you guys could see this in person. That is beautiful. How old is your 4020? Yeah, the 4020 I believe was like 69 or 70. What happened to the old mower? Why did you get a new one? You're gonna be after a little. You're gonna have to be a little bit more specific. The lawnmower? That's Dad's, and I was using it at my place. I do not own this farm, as a matter of fact. This is all my dad's ground. Mom and Dad's. Just got here. What are you doing? Well, I am currently tedding. Come on. Those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up. There we go. All right, now I got to slow down, because I'm going to go down by the pond, because that hasn't been hit yet. Should slow the tedder down just a hair. Now this is all oats, technically, so I'm going to pick the tedder up, because there's really not enough oats here to justify hitting it with the tedder, because basically when it's this light, when you hit it with the tedder, it just basically blows into nothingness, and it just basically disappears. So, yeah, I'm basically done. I just have to do this a little bit down by the pond here. I was kind of rushing pretty hard there for a while. This wasn't meant to be a long stream. I just kind of did it last minute, because I'm like, you know what? I'll let people in on this. So, this is why I don't hit or ted anything that was planted as oats, because it basically is all dust. Hold your horses there, Nessie. Look at this. Man. Woo! Honk the horn. Can't even hear it barely. Why do you ted hay? We ted hay to make it dry faster. First crop needed to be cut. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It needed to get cut. So we went ahead and cut it when we had what looked like a pretty good window. We wanted to cut it on Saturday, was the last day it rained. They said that it was supposed to be clear for a full week. So we cut it on Monday after the hay dried out. And lo and behold, the forecast changed. I don't believe tedding is a waste. Oh boy, this is going to require two hands. This might get a little tricky. Don't mind me while I move the camera over. There we go. Yeah, I think tedding is fairly new. I just wish I had lights. Alright, well. Alright, I gotta take this real slow. Slow, I said, girl. Jeez. There we go. Okay, maybe not quite that slow. Tedding is a necessary expense. Well, let me just say is that I wish we did have this tedder back when we were still milking cows. You plan to farm your whole life? Yes. If you guys have Snapchat, I highly encourage you to go check out my Snapchat story today because it's just been a wild ride all day long. My Snapchat is How Farms Work, no spaces, if you have a Snapchat. Basically, oh, yeah, another thing that I covered in my Snapchat story, I had a calf get out, and 20 minutes later, I discovered that I had a new baby calf. So, today's been a crazy day. Why did you start farming? I was born into it. Have you ever seen anything weird out here? Yes, as a matter of fact, but if you're interested in it, ask me that question again on Snapchat, because if I told you my story about it, everybody here would think I'm crazy. You probably wouldn't believe me, even though I do have people to back me up on it who are there with me. What's your favorite part of farming? Being your own boss. Be me. This is a pretty steep hill right here. Just tell us. Okay. So my crazy story, and I was with my at least two other friends, Mitchell and Jesse, were with me. It was a few years ago, actually, and we were out on top of the hill up here. It was like midnight. We were on what we called night rides, which where we took the mule out at night, and we just kind of rode around the pastures and the field. And the field was in hay. We had just cut it, so we went up to the top of the hill. We just sat there, and we looked up straight up above us. And there were just these weird lights that were doing like S shapes and all sorts of weird stuff. So, I mean, I'm not a believer in UFOs, but that was probably like one of the weirder things I've seen. So. All right, just added you on Snapchat. Shout me out, Vincent Hughes. What's going on? I'm basically done tedding. Got one more pass, and then I'm gonna head back to the buildings. Buying Oliver. Well, I don't know. Olivers are a little older. Honestly, if I was to buy a tractor, it'd probably be the Soundguard Cab Series John Deere's. Broke rake, try and get hay done before rain in Tennessee. Yeah, that's one thing you got to be careful of when you're driving too fast, like I just was. It really puts the stuff to the limit. That was my last pass. What's up, Jacob Bung? Thanks for that. Oh, here's another thing that happened today. I didn't have my phone on me at the time, but I was out walking through that field that we were cultivating today, taking soil, or not soil samples. I was taking leaves so we could do a test on them, so we know like if the field was short on anything. Well, I was walking through the corn with Rocket, go figure, and I just hear this screeching, and it sounded like a goat, and I was like, what the heck is that? I'll make my way down there, but I just kind of moseyed my way down around. I lost Rocket. I was calling for him, didn't know where he went, so I just kept walking towards where I heard the screeching, and I walk up on Rocket sitting on top of this baby fawn. So I screamed at Rocket to get him off. Well, the fawn was okay. I mean, Rocket basically was just showing him who's boss. Rocket loves to chase deer, and today he finally caught one. So, yeah, I had actually seen his mom run up over the hill like 5 minutes beforehand. I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. She's all alone. Why do you cultivate planted fields? We believe that by cultivating, it gives the corn plants a little bit of a boost. It breaks up the soil, lets more moisture in, unless you get heavy rains, as well as side dressing. It allows us to put down extra nutrients as well. We just started doing that last year. Who doesn't like to chase deer? Yeah. So I'm heading back to the farm now. I didn't get it on camera, unfortunately. The weird thing is that like whenever I leave my phone or my camera in the tractor, that's usually when stuff goes down. I don't know why that is, but it seems like it's always the case. Still a beautiful sunset. Yes, I have shot a deer before. When does that farm sim vid come out? I still got to make another one. I could release my old one, but Blake Briner, I love your channel. Thanks, Blake. We haven't done corn silage since 2013, and that was the year before my grandpa died. So we haven't had any equipment to do corn silage or anything like that, though we've always said that we wouldn't mind getting back into it. How many acres do we farm? 1,200 acres total. Could you work behind an office? Like in the field behind an office, sure. Like behind an office building, but I don't think I could work like in an office. I think I'd go crazy. What kind of hay is that? Alfalfa. The pasture grass, which you can see basically along the horizon over there, barely, that was just pasture grass. So, do you foresee actually buying ground instead of actually renting? Yes. Basically, as soon as I get the chance to buy some ground, I am going to do so. But the stars have to align just right for that to happen. The way that things have been going on YouTube, basically I've been living off my photography income. So, do you do squares or just round bales? We're just doing round bales. We haven't done squares since 2013. All right. Well, I'd like to keep this stream going, but I am going to head back to the farm, and I need to have one hand to turn on the lights so I have something to see on the way over. So, anyway, I really appreciate you guys watching. Thanks for tuning in for this short little live stream that I really wasn't planning on doing until the last minute. But, yeah, be sure to go to our Snapchat story. Check that out if you have Snapchat. Go to our Instagram, How Farms Work. I constantly post on there, Facebook as well. But this is where most of the stuff goes down, right here on YouTube. So anyway, I'll be sure to do another live stream fairly soon. I'm trying to get back into doing them more. That way I can answer people's questions and stuff, because I get so many questions and comments and stuff that I can't keep up with them, and this is kind of my opportunity to do it. So with that, I'll let you all go. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.